Help me hit 7,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. I never expected a Friday night to end like this. Parties were never really my thing, but when Lily insisted that I come pick her up, I figured it would be simple. A few quick hellos, a polite nod to her friends, and then the drive home. Easy, right? I thought I knew Lily. She was always lively, always laughing, a little whirlwind of energy that drew people in without even trying. That was part of why I fell for her in the first place. That and the way she always smelled faintly of vanilla and rain, like she carried warmth wherever she went. I pulled up to the house just as the bass from the party thumped through the walls. Music, laughter, shouting, it was chaotic but familiar. I smiled at the thought that Lily would be waiting for me, probably waving from the porch, excited to go home. I stepped out of the car, adjusting my jacket against the cool evening breeze, and headed to the front door. The moment I walked in, something felt off. Not the usual energy I was used to. The rooms were alive with people, yes, but their energy didn't match the carefree kind I expected. It was heavier, sharper somehow, like a tension crackling beneath the laughter. I made my way past a circle of strangers, nodding at a few faces I vaguely recognized, calling out Lily's name. No response. That was strange. Usually, she was impossible to miss. I checked the living room. Empty. The kitchen? Same. Then the hallway, the stairs, anywhere I could think she might be. And finally, I saw movement at the back of the house. A cluster of people gathered near the sliding doors that led to the backyard. I quickened my pace, feeling a strange tightening in my chest. My heartbeat started to pick up as I approached. And then I saw her. Lily wasn't laughing. She wasn't waving. She wasn't even standing. She was crouched near the garden fountain, her hands covering her face, trembling slightly. Around her, I could make out a few people whispering to each other, glancing in my direction as I froze. My first thought was that someone had hurt her, that this had to be some kind of accident or prank. Lily! My voice cracked. She didn't answer at first, just shook her head, a single hair falling into her eyes, wet with something I didn't want to identify. Panic rose in my throat as I stepped closer, my hands hovering just in case, uncertain whether to touch her or wait. I hadn't expected to see her like this. Not tonight. Not ever. One of the girls near her, a petite blonde named Maisie whom I had met once before, stepped forward. She's fine, Maisie said, but her voice trembled. Just give her a minute. I wanted to scream. Fine? Fine? Lily was crouched there like a wounded animal. Something had happened, and no one was telling me. My stomach twisted, my thoughts spinning, imagining every possible scenario. Did she get into an argument? Did someone do something to her? My mind wouldn't stop racing. Finally, Lily lifted her head, her eyes red, glistening with unshed tears. She looked at me, and for a moment I didn't recognize her. The spark that usually danced in her eyes, the mischievous light, the warmth, it was gone. She looked fragile, smaller than she was, swallowed by the night and the chaos around her. What happened? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, though I wished I could have yelled it to shake the world into clarity. She swallowed hard, shaking her head. It's complicated, she murmured, voice shaking. I don't know how to explain. I crouched down beside her, careful not to crowd her space. Lily, whatever it is, you can tell me. Please. She looked at me then, really looked at me, and I realized something had changed. There was a weight in her gaze, a hesitation I had never seen before, a secret she was holding that made her hesitant even to breathe in my presence. I could feel it like static in the air, and for a moment, I panicked, my stomach dropping. I wasn't expecting this, she whispered, and the words weren't directed at me but at herself, I think. Her fingers trembled against the cold edge of the fountain, and my mind began to spiral. Then, without warning, she stood up, brushing her hair out of her face. Her movements were sharp, almost forced. I noticed her hands were trembling, and I realized she was holding something. Something small, shiny, folded in her fingers. She turned slowly, as though expecting judgment, her lips barely moving as she muttered, "I didn't know how to tell you." I felt a chill run down my spine, an unshakable sense of dread mixed with disbelief. What I was about to hear, I wasn't ready for it. But there was no turning back now. My heart hammered in my chest, my hands frozen midair, caught between the instinct to reach for her and the fear of whatever truth was about to shatter the calm I thought we had. And then she spoke, the words soft but sharp enough to cut through the night. "You shouldn't have come here tonight." I froze. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. The music, the laughter, the murmurs of the party. It all faded into nothing. My mind raced, trying to interpret the tone, the meaning behind the words, any hint that this could be a joke, a misunderstanding, anything. But the weight in her eyes told me otherwise. Lily stepped back, just enough to create distance between us. I didn't want you to see this," she whispered, almost pleading now. I didn't know how it got this far. I wanted to ask questions, a million of them, but my throat was tight. My voice didn't come out. I just stood there, frozen, like the world had suddenly become a place I didn't recognize, a place where the person I trusted most could hold something from me. Something so big it left me unsteady on my feet. I swallowed hard, trying to steady myself, but the cold had seeped into my bones. "Lily, what is it? Please?" I managed to whisper, my voice rough, betraying the panic I was trying to hide. She hesitated, then took a deep breath. "It's not what you think," she said, though her eyes betrayed her. They darted around, looking at the garden, the party, anywhere but me. I could see the truth pressing behind her words, like it was fighting to escape, but she couldn't bring herself to say it. I stepped closer, careful, cautious, my instincts screaming at me to be gentle, to anchor her, to pull her into some semblance of safety. "Lily, whatever it is, we can face it. Together. Please, don't shut me out now." Her lips trembled. She shook her head slowly. "It's complicated," she repeated. But this time there was a weight, a confession hidden inside the word. My chest tightened. That single word carried 1,000 fears I wasn't ready to hear. Then she finally unfolded her hands. There it was, a small envelope, slightly crumpled, shiny edges catching the light. I froze, my mind racing, imagining every possible scenario. None of them good. My fingers hovered, unsure if I should take it, afraid that the moment I touched it, whatever fragile reality we had would fracture completely. She spoke again, her voice barely audible over the muted music behind us. "I didn't want you to know like this. I was trying to fix it, but it's too late." I took a shallow breath, my heart hammering. "Fix what, Lily? Tell me. Please, just tell me." Her eyes finally met mine, and in them I saw everything I had feared. The guilt, the shame, the truth I hadn't wanted to imagine. I wasn't honest with you," she admitted, her voice breaking now. I kissed someone else tonight. Just one kiss. I didn't mean for it to happen, but it did. And it made me realize I've been lying to myself, to us, for months. I felt my knees weaken. A sharp, cold ache sliced through my chest, and my stomach turned. I wanted to scream, to rage, to demand answers, but instead, I felt this hollow emptiness take over. A strange, numb silence that left me frozen in place. I had always known relationships were fragile, but I never imagined it could feel like this, like walking through ice that might crack beneath your feet at any second. "Lily," my voice caught. I didn't know what to say, what words could possibly fix this. The image of her crouched near the fountain, trembling, her secret in her hands, would haunt me forever. Why didn't you tell me sooner?" She looked down, unable to meet my eyes. "I thought I could handle it. I thought maybe I could forget. Maybe it was nothing. But it's not nothing. I couldn't lie to myself anymore. And I couldn't lie to you either, not fully." I took a step back, suddenly feeling the weight of every laugh, every touch, every memory replaying like a cruel slideshow. The warmth I had associated with her, the vanilla, the laughter, the spark, was gone, replaced with a cold clarity I couldn't escape. My hands shook, my jaw tightened, but the words I wanted to scream wouldn't come. Instead, I did something I hadn't expected. I breathed, deeply, slowly, and I realized something. Anger wouldn't fix this. Pleading wouldn't fix this. Only clarity could. I need a minute, I said finally, my voice quiet but firm. She nodded, stepping back, giving me space. And in that space, I understood what had frozen me wasn't just the kiss, wasn't just the betrayal. It was the realization that things had changed irrevocably. And there was no going back to what we once were. I turned toward the sliding doors, toward the night, the quiet garden beyond, and for the first time, I felt the weight of freedom pressing against the walls of my chest. It was bitter, yes, sharp, but also strangely necessary. I had clung to the comfort of what I thought we had, the safety of familiar laughter and warmth, but now that illusion had shattered, and I could no longer pretend. Lily called my name, soft, hesitant. I didn't turn immediately. I could feel her presence behind me, but I needed to process, to breathe, to anchor myself before facing her again. Finally, I looked back. She was standing there, hands clasped together, as if afraid to move, afraid I might walk away forever, and maybe I would. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I didn't want it to happen like this." I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. "I know," I said quietly, more to myself than to her. And in that moment, I realized something that would stay with me long after this night. Sometimes the truth is less about punishment and more about clarity. Less about anger and more about understanding where you stand, who you are, and what you will no longer tolerate. I took a step forward, and she flinched slightly, still unsure. I didn't move closer. I didn't reach for her. Instead, I took her envelope from her hands, gently, deliberately, and held it like a fragile weight between us, symbolic of the truth, of the breach, and the decision that now lay ahead. Tonight, the party faded around us. The laughter, the music, the chatter, they all became background noise, distant and irrelevant. The only thing that mattered was the space between us, the frozen moment, and the undeniable reality that some things, once broken, could never truly be the same. I turned back to the night, to the quiet that stretched before me, and for the first time in months, maybe years, I felt the sharp, clear bite of reality, the kind that freezes you, shakes you, but also, in a strange way, awakens you. And in that silence, I knew one thing with absolute certainty. Whatever happened next, I would face it with my eyes wide open, unflinching and unafraid.